Hi everyone, I'm Rhiannon Edwards, author of the Bloodline Alliance series, a young adult urban fantasy story with magic and shifters. There is a free prequel story to the series which is available to my newsletter subscribers, so if you're interested I'll leave the link down below. And talking of the free prequel story, that's what we're going to discuss today, specifically in how I published it, a little bit of the why, and also the costs involved, because this was a free book, so it's not as clear-cut in the ROI and things like that. So let's get into today's video. So first up, The Alliance. That's this one here. That is the free prequel short story, and it was intended to be a reader magnet. And as it's a prequel to the main series, hopefully it's enough of an enticement for people to then go and read the main series after they've read the prequel story. And it also works if you read the main story and you want to see how it all began, then the prequel story is available for those readers too, but it is intended to be my reader magnet to draw more readers in. So The Alliance focuses on the original pact made between the Royal Shifter family and the original Magic User Council, and what happened in that alliance pact. Now we know from the main series that this got interrupted in a rather violent way, so this story covers that. In the prequel we meet the King Alpha, the young Killian, who Kayla is looking for in Hunted, by the way, which is this book here, the first book in the main series. And we also meet Killian's uncle. He's also the beta to the King Alpha, and he's called Leo. This is that original story of how it all began and how the events of the first book in the series, Hunted, started. So the story actually comes in at a little over 10k word count wise, which I think technically makes it a novelette. Fancy, but I have been calling it a short story or a short novella. Just, it's sort of in between those two things there, but I think it's technically called a novelette. So I actually originally wrote this for the first part of book 2, but then through discussions with like developmental editors and all that, we decided that it didn't need to be there for that, so I took it out. So I had like nearly 10k's worth of writing, so all I had to do was sort of edit and strengthen the plot, and I had my reader magnet. That's the brief overview of sort of why. So let's get talking about the how. How did I publish the story? So I actually used bookfunnel to deliver the book. I chose bookfunnel because I'd heard many good things about it, and I have actually recently done a video. I'll try and leave the link up here somewhere. It might be here, I don't know. About bookfunnel and uploading my books for the first time. But basically I chose bookfunnel because there's a way to collect reader email addresses. So if a reader wants to read the free story, they have to agree to give their email address to join up to my newsletter. So I can just download a spreadsheet of all the emails that have been inputted. I then take that spreadsheet and then put it into MailerLite because I use MailerLite, and then they are sort of automatically then added to my subscriber mailing list, and then the onboarding sequence starts for those readers. So the different file formats that I use, I think I had a Mobi, an EPUB, and then a PDF. So I actually used Draft2Digital, their website, to upload my manuscript and then download the Mobi and the EPUB file formats because it's free. It's just a nice little bonus. You don't have to go with D2D to be able to do this. I mean, I do actually use Draft2Digital to go with other retailers, but you don't have to, and you can still use that service to download into the different formats. I then just used a sort of free online converter for the PDF just because I preferred that to the Draft2Digital version. I don't know why, that's just what I've been doing. So I had the 3 different formats, uploaded them to bookfunnel, and there you go, which means readers can then choose which format works for them. So if you sign up for my newsletter from my website, you'll get the welcome email onboarding sequence that has a link in for the free book. And if you do it that way, you don't have to put your email address in twice, because I did a separate landing page with bookfunnel so that readers that were already from my subscriber list didn't have to put their email address in again. I think it just eliminated another step for them. But don't worry, if that does happen, then my MailerLite program doesn't allow for duplicate emails, so you won't get like 2 lots of welcome sequence emails from me. So I have got the 2 pages, and that's another reason why I liked bookfunnel, because I could have a page that collected reader email addresses and then a page where you could just download the book in whatever format you wanted if you were already coming from my newsletter, so that you didn't have to do that twice. So there were 2 pages. Enough about like onboarding sequences and stuff like that. I'm happy to do a separate video another time, but let's move on to costs, which I know is probably what most people are interested in. Because I wanted this to draw people in, I actually did go back to my cover designer to get her to do another cover. I know it's an expense for a free book, and you might think, why are you doing that for a free book? But in my eyes, I saw it as keeping the sort of same quality throughout all the series, and if this is meant to draw people in to the whole series, unfortunately we do judge a book by its cover, and I wanted her to do the free one as well, and it did actually turn out to be my favourite cover of the entire series, and it's for the free book. Oh well. I have been asked who my cover designer is, and I use somebody on Fiverr. I will leave the link down below so you can go and check out her work. And I have got an old video series on Fiverr that I will leave linked up here somewhere. So I did do it a little while ago, but it sort of still does stand in so far as why I use Fiverr and the problems I've had with it and things to be aware of. If you're on a really tight budget, Fiverr could be a way to get around that in some way. So, and actually there are some really good people on Fiverr. I've had some dodgy work done, but I've also had some really good work done. So I used my cover designer on Fiverr, and I've used her for all the series so far. And then after the cover, there's the editor to consider. Now the editor that I was using moved away and stopped doing Fiverr work. So I had to find a new editor. And again, I was using Fiverr, and this can be tricky. But I did find somebody who was willing to read it and have a look at it. And I really liked the work she did, because she didn't just focus on like errors within the manuscript. She also focused on like the sentence and the flow of the sentence and how it made sense. And I can mix and go back and forth between passive and active voice quite a lot, I feel. And she just helps to sort of smooth that out a bit, so it just flows a lot better. But I just like the way she focused on the sentence structure as well. So I did pay to get the prequel story edited. I did also use betas, but obviously betas are like other readers and writers who donate their time for that. So the 2 main big costs were the book cover and the editing. I format myself. It does my heading, but I just like the full control over that formatting myself. And then obviously I signed up for bookfunnel, which I didn't do the free version because it doesn't allow you to collect email addresses, and that was the whole point. So I think I did the first paid plan, and I pay monthly. I could save a bit of money and pay yearly, but I didn't know how it was going to go and how it would work in terms of like return on investment and things like that. So I'm only paying monthly. I think it's like $10 a month, which is like £8.49. So I'll see how that goes for like the first 6 months and then sort of go from there. So totals. So I'm going to put on the screen the totals for the book cover, and then this is the total for the editing. So overall, the main book cost this much. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but it is for my free book, and I could have done this without. I could have done the book cover myself, I could have done the editing myself. I don't think it would be anywhere near as good and wouldn't draw in anywhere near the amount of people that I've drawn in. So that's why I went back to these professionals to do it for me. And then obviously the cost of bookfunnel, but I'm not going to include it here because it sort of depends on how long I do that for how much that costs. But you know, the monthly cost for bookfunnel. I don't have a return on investment and ROI figure yet because I just don't know the sort of follow through on that. Hopefully I'll start to see some sales in the main series as people read the prequel, but a lot of people sort of download free books and then don't read them for a while, so it might take a while for that to filter through. But I can say I started this process with around 40 subscribers because I started like from the ground up. So I had around 40 subscribers for my newsletter, and as of right now I've got just over like 150. So I did draw in, for me, I felt I drew in quite a lot of people. I did one promotion on bookfunnel and I'll probably do another one in another month's time as well, and I felt that went really well. So I've now got over 150 subscribers, which I'm really excited about because my goal for the whole year was 100. So I mean, how many will stick around after they've got their free book? Who knows? That'll be another figure that I will be able to get some numbers for you at another point, because I do think it's interesting. Some people will just want the free book and then they won't be bothered with your newsletter. They might unsubscribe at a later date and so on and so forth. So there's still a lot of unknowns for this, but right now I'm happy with the numbers that I have and I'm happy with the progress that I've made. Obviously I'd love to see that translate into sales eventually, but we will see. And of course I'll definitely keep you updated on this journey of reader magnets and the cost, the return on investment and all of that malarkey. But I think I'm going to end the video there. So what did you think to my spending? Were you surprised? Were you maybe relieved? Let me know down below. And of course, if you've got any questions, drop those down as well, and I will endeavour to answer them as I always do. So that's all from me for today. I hope you have a good week and I will see you next time. Bye guys.